All right, people, here we go. Welcome in on this, I can't believe it, Wednesday, January the 8th. The year is 2020. People, it is another edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show. It is powered by WagerTalk.com. I'm Joe Raineri, and the esteemed panel we've got here today, some of the best, and let's face it, you guys know exactly who they are. We've got ourselves Mr. Ski Profit of WagerTalk.com, along with Mr. Tony Finn. The Doc is in the house at Dr. Chuck RX at SportsMemo.com. We've got NBA on our mind, and we want to send a big shout-out to those of you joining us via the chat room there on YouTube, what's going on, Adam? Good to see you, brother. Nope, didn't end, just getting started. B. Hedges88. What's going on with you? Thank you guys very much. We'll get you caught up here. We got 9 games on the calendar tonight in the NBA. We're going to highlight a couple of those games, give you a few of our best bets. But first, going to start here with a little bit of a recap of what happened there last night. And Ski, let's talk a little bit here about your Lakers, if we could, for just a second. While Tony Finn continues to type louder than an earthquake right now. So, but you hang in there, Tony. You're all right. Really, we'll just talk over you. Jesus. Where the hell was I? I remember all. Jesus, Finn, will you put some mittens on or something? Will you? Are you going to type like that?
I can't hear you over my typing.
Holy
okay, hold
crap! God, I hope I can still have kids. All right, Ski. Let me ask you, brother. Lakers, last night, Knicks. It was a game we talked about here on the show. You were pretty confident first half. You were pretty confident. We didn't know how much LeBron was going to play. But as it turns out, we got a bit of a gluteus maximus issue here with AD last night. He broke his ass a couple of games out. But really, the story was more about how just inept the Knicks were last night, was it not?
Right. I know they need Morris, and LeBron just kind of faked everybody out, right, with that news. And they need to start sitting some games anyway. I mean, I know they want to be Mr. No-low management, but I think it's about that time to start sitting some games out for both of them.
Yes, yeah, it's going to be interesting to follow there. Obviously, Morris was a big thing there. Also, last night there, Doc, I can't believe it, but Portland seemed to. There's a guy on Portland. What's his name again? He's like 100 years old. I think he went to school with Carmelo. Carmelo Anthony, man, just down at it, getting it done last night, fellas. Listen, last second shot. It looks like Carmelo can still get it done there. Doc, covering against a big win on the road there in Toronto last night.
I'm sure Carmelo loves that we opened the show with LeBron and immediately transition to him, call him an old ass, and they're the same damn age. I think right down to a couple of months. But I'm sure he loves that it's just a shock that he can hit a game winner, and LeBron playing means they win by 30. But, yeah, I know that really killed the shits and giggles parlay. I don't think any of us had a ton of conviction with the Raptors last night, but it did seem like that was the way to go. I know Steve was on the first half under, which I think was fine. But yeah, and then back to just the Lakers, I mean, and why it might have been the Knicks and why it was more. I liked the first half more, but also said that they might win by 30, and I wanted to mention it was 30.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that's good. You don't pull your arm, patting yourself on the back. All right, I don't want you to pull anything. I know you're a doctor and all, but
you were so excited to play the Knicks at any number in that shit people's parlay. So
crap! Holy Jesus! Here we go. This is going to be a hell of a show here.
You see what happens when you start.
I didn't want to be the one.
Yeah, I know. Whatever. That's all right. I mean, I didn't realize you're that athletic. You can kiss your own ass on a show like that. Is impressive. So, Tony Finn, let me ask you. Talk to me about this Sacramento Kings-Phoenix game. I know you were leaning Phoenix. You liked Phoenix a little bit, though. But what's up with Sacramento, man? I can't get a handle on them. You trust them? You don't trust on the road? Is it just Phoenix is that bad? Like, what are you seeing here?
Well, I don't think either one of these teams are going to be playing basketball in June. So, but as we talked to, as we argued to, as we discussed in the chat room, our personal chat room before we go on the air, which is much more informative and entertaining than this show. And that is that sometimes frauds beat frauds, right, Ski? Sometimes frauds beat contenders. In this case, for the most part, Phoenix owned that game, the entire game, until the fourth quarter, and they were outscored. I think in the first 3 or 4 minutes, they were outscored by 13 or so. And at that point in time, like any inexperienced team, any fraud, players have a tendency to think they have to take it on their shoulders. They get desperate. They make bad decisions, and the next thing you know, you go from leading by 19 to losing by 13.
And guys, can we all agree? And Ski, you crushed it last night. You getting a lot of props in the chat room there. A lot of guys, giving the clap in there. Unfortunately, like you let the guys applaud you over there, unlike the Doc who kisses his own ass. But let me ask you this here: Memphis, is this just an over team from here on out this year? Like, what are we doing with this team? Again, what'd they get last night? 231. It was 228, 228.5 as a closing line there for the total. You like what you're seeing from Memphis quietly now? This team is, been pretty impressive.
Definitely like what I'm seeing. And it was a point earlier in the year where they were just covering first halves and losing the full game. And I remember, I think it was Morant in the interview, he was just saying that the team is learning how to get it together and play for a full 48 minutes. So I'm definitely like what I'm seeing. They've been able to do it lately. And yes, they're an over team. They're not the same slow, grinded out team. They want to run up and down, and they can pretty much force any team to play at their pace.
All right, so let's dive into what we got going on here tonight. Now, guys, welcome in. Those of you joining us here on YouTube, WagerTalk TV, appreciate the time here for the NBA Tip-Off Show, powered by WagerTalk, of course. Don't forget, Ski, Tony Finn, WagerTalk.com. The Doc below me here, when he's not patting himself on the back, you can definitely get him at SportsMemo.com. So let's dive into game number one on the card here tonight, guys. Toronto Raptors, speaking of which, home game last night, on the road today in Charlotte. Taking on the Hornets here. Opened up as Toronto laying 4. I'm seeing 2.5s now. I'm also seeing the total come down a little bit from 209 to 207 in this one. And I'm taking a look here at the injury report, and still no Gasol. Norman Powell is listed as doubtful. No Fleet, no Siak, no anybody. Kid Gilchrist looks like he is active, though, for Charlotte. Marvin Williams is doubtful with some sort of nose-picking situation. So, Ski, I'll start with you, man. Back-to-back here for Toronto. Is this kind of an automatic fade for you? It looks like the market thinks it is.
Yeah, well, I definitely am not running to the window to back Toronto. If you could run that line for me one more time on the spread.
Opened up as -4. It's now I'm seeing 2.5s across the board. I'm seeing the total from 209 as an open to 207.5 right now.
Yeah, I agree with the line move. I would have to like Charlotte. Toronto, they're already thin as it is. I mean, they were missing a ton of guys yesterday, and that's why I kind of like the under. And it's kind of the same today. I mean, you could even see maybe one of these guys sitting today on a back-to-back, maybe Kyle Lowry or Ibaka, and they're already thin as it is. So there's no way that I could back Toronto. I like Charlotte at the house, and probably less points.
A little less points. All right. So, Tony Finn, talk to me over here. You like you're going to fade Toronto? You think this is going to be a little less scoring than some?
Toronto's I think a favorable fade here. The probabilities are high. So I don't want to go back to the exact date or time and space when Toronto started experiencing the injuries they're experiencing now. But since December 1st, they've had 3 back-to-backs. And they've been favored in 2 of those. They're 1-2 straight up, 0-3 against the spread in back-to-backs. Mostly because of what Ski just described. They're thin, guys. They're thin. Their 5 starters all played, except for one played 30 minutes or more, almost 40 minutes in truth, and they don't have a bench to speak of now that they're all starting. They're getting no contribution. I don't know how anyone can sit there and tell me that they're confident that Toronto can go into even Charlotte.
Right.
With Kidd back and feel like they're going to win. I like Charlotte here. I like Charlotte and wire to wire.
Got to ask you there, Doc, because you are certainly been one that has profited big time here with Charlotte. Certainly early on in games, first half, they are a different team at home than they seem to be on the road, but they struggle to score. Let's face it, Rozier, Devontae Graham, they're reliable, but they are not elite. The team has been inconsistent, and I'm being nice when saying that, but they do seem to at least show up early on in games. Might you be looking for another first half play here?
Yeah, so I don't mind the first half. I actually probably like the full game a little bit more. It's not, we're live at least, and so there's not as much lag time from when the show is going to go on from when we shoot it, but still I liked it at the 4, which I got this morning. The total might even be a better spot to look at, not only because of what you mentioned with the Hornets and just their ability for Rozier and Graham to, shoot poorly and still not necessarily affect the game, a little bit better on defense with the regular coach. The Raptors as a road favorite, not to mention the rest, and already being thin. I mean, and this takes into account just Raptors, period. The last 12 times the Raptors were a road favorite, they've gone over once. And so, I mean, that doesn't take into account different numbers and the fact that it's from 209 to 207. But, yeah, if you can get yourself something in the 207 and a half range, this feels like a game in the 90s for both teams.
Okay, there you go. All right, let's move on. Game number 2, another kind of coin flip
and
game
Joe,
here. Yeah, go ahead, man.
I just wanted to mention that we already said they're thin. They're 1-3-1 on the second of a back-to-back.
Toronto, is it? Yeah, no, it's not. I talk about inconsistent. I mean, you almost can't bet them until you get somebody, at least, Van Fleet back on a regular base, Norman, until you can start trusting some of that backcourt. It's, Davis is nice, but he's a little young, and it's good playing time, but not something I would spend my money backing.
Yes.
What's that?
I just want one more thing. I guess, I feel like we come on here and it's just like, oh, I bet Chuck bet the Hornets. And that does tend to be the case a lot of times. But this is a team that is just not going to get the value, and I didn't know how long it would last. But this is not a spot where they should be getting points. And so it's just going to be, it's going to stay that way until things adjust. Look at all this stuff that we're naming off. Right. And this was 4 points this morning. Yep. That's more than a bucket of any kind. And so this should be probably have opened in the pick'em range.
This is the world champion. They're the world champions. So if they're going, they're not going to be laying points, or they're not going to be getting points from Charlotte. Not in our world, but You're right.
Exactly, and that's why it's different when you watch this show. And that's one of the things that I hope you can gain from this show is Vegas isn't projecting the game; they're wanting to limit their liability.
Right.
That's correct.
So who knows what they would stand to have liability-wise if it was a pick'em, as where I make this.
Yes.
And so they just can't do that.
Yes.
And so that's why they want to continue to have this value.
Yes. You can also see the doctor pat himself on the back on a consistent basis on this show, too. It's very entertaining. So we're going to move on. Game number 2 here on the card tonight. Miami Heat taking on the Indiana Pacers. It feels like a pick'em game here as well, and the market seems to agree. I'm seeing open up at Indiana laying 1 at home, and it's pretty consistent throughout, and I'm sure Ski will have the injury report here, but the number total 211, I'm seeing 210, 210 and a half, somewhere in that ballpark. So, Ski, it's been an interesting last week and a half here for our friends Indiana and the Pacers, and it does look like good news from Miami. Justice Winslow back here tonight. Jimmy Butler is listed as probable with a back issue. Malcolm Brogdon, questionable, which is good. No Oladipo still, but reinforcements for Miami. They're going to have to juggle that lineup here now a little bit. Those rotations are going to change a little bit with Winslow in.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that Jimmy Butler will play. I think that he didn't play before the last game to kind of maybe save him for this game. And as far as the Pacers side, Brogdon, if he does play, I think that'll help their defense out a lot. I think, first, I want to look at this game from a total perspective. Both teams play very slow. 29th in pace over the last 5 for Miami, 26 for Indiana. And I definitely trust both defenses more than the offense right now. And with Winslow coming back for Miami, it could maybe throw them off as far as rotations or offensive-wise. So I kind of like less points in this game. And from a side, it's kind of tough. Miami 5-6-1 as a road dog, not really playing well lately. 2-5 against the spread their last 7. And Indiana, you want to play them at the house.
Yeah,
it was a close game. I think the last time these teams played, they're 9-4-3 as a home favorite. 6-5-1 versus 55% when teams are greater. If they get Brogdon in, I definitely would like Indiana.
Yeah, it's interesting there, Tony. They are a spread monster at home, this Indiana team. 15-4 against the number. The under, it's interesting. They've got, I think, one more under than over, and Miami kind of also 500 over-under on the road. So depending on whether or not you've got Brogdon, Jimmy Butler, the under might be a play if everybody's in, but do you like Indiana to win this at home?
Well, I do like Indiana to win this at home. I like them to have a very good chance of winning this at home. I think that's and the public. It's going to stay to pick them. It's going to stay to pick them until something's more definitive. Is Brogdon playing? Is he sitting? He's a huge difference maker defensively for this team, and when he's on the court, this Indiana team is a very good defensive team, especially at home. These two teams are similar. They both dominated home. Look at their home records. I think 15-4 or something for Indiana. What's 17-1? I don't know what the exact numbers are, but they're both good.
Right.
And if Winslow's back, if Butler, let's put it this way, if Butler and Winslow are both playing, and Goran's shooting well. This is a very good Miami team. Again, I'll say it again on the show, guys that are listening on the chat rooms. Name me, without looking it up, Googling it, whatever. Name me the 3 starting front courts for Miami. Ask 10 people. I bet you 9 of them can't do it. It's a good team.
That's a challenge there, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard that in the chat room. That is Tony Finn throwing shade your way. I heard challenge. I heard you guys suck, and I bet you don't know exactly what it is I'm asking. But I guarantee you guys like Tubatic over here, Adam, Larry Savage. We got a whole Luke is in here. These guys.
Joe heard you suck because that's something that just reverberates through my brain.
I'm just saying there is you suck. Oh, speaking of suck, Dr. Chuck, let's talk to you here about this game, my friend, because a lot is going to be dependent upon who is in this game, but there's no denying Indiana at home. Pretty darn impressive, but without, let's just say there is no Brogdon tonight. Are you going Heat in this point?
I think if there was no Brogdon, that I would go Heat. I assume, I guess, I don't know what to think because it's hard to tell with that line if that already means they know something maybe. But I think with Winslow coming back, he's been gone for a while, and that's definitely a spot where I think right off the bat, it's hard to incorporate him right back in. It's not just like they're missing their number 9 or 10 guy, and he's back in for the second team type rotation. And so with the Pacers already being 14-5 against the spread in the first half at home, and you're going to get a money line. I mean, it didn't work last night with the Nets, unfortunately, who are the other best team, ATS on the first half lines. I would be back in the well with the money line on the Pacers in the first half. Might even be like a money line first half Pacers, second half Heat, or full game Heat, but I don't have a whole lot of gauge on the total because of the Brogdon situation, but I do think that at least earlier than later, the Pacers have an advantage just with the Winslow incorporation and whether or not Jimmy's 100%.
Yeah, I'm looking at the numbers here, and Tony, I'm sure you see this too. It's about as 50-50 as far as the market is concerned, one way or the other, which is why we're not getting a lot of movement in the line or the total. So it's just about 50-50, both on the spread and the total thus far. Not seeing a lot of sharp money coming in one way or the other, but I will say this. Miami Heat are happy to get Winslow back, so it'll be interesting to see how they incorporate him and how many minutes that he does play in this game.
The responsible books, or reliable books, let's reword that.
Okay.
Didn't have overnights in this, and they did not. And then when they opened this, I looked, and every single one of them followed one that opened at -1. They all opened at -1. And guess where they're at now?
-1. Yep, there you go. We do have a big game on the card here tonight, guys, that is seeing some movement here, and it's in Dallas as the media continues to blow smoke up Doncic's ass as much as humanly possible here. The Denver Nuggets coming to town. They got another 100-foot white guy there that can shoot as well and score some points. Dallas Mavericks at home opened up a 1.5 favorite, and Tony, I'll start with you. That's
okay.
Up to 3 now, brother. I'm looking at 3 here, and I'm also seeing the total. 218 opens up. I'm seeing a lot of 221s right now in the market. Who do you like in this matchup?
Well, I like Denver in this matchup for several reasons, but the primary variables here are that they are head and shoulders a better defensive team. They're head and shoulders a more experienced team, and revenge doesn't really come. I don't like to use that word, especially in the NBA, because I don't think it just doesn't apply to a team that's as young as Dallas. However, Dallas beat Denver the first time around, if I'm not mistaken, and they were dogs. I think it was in Denver, wasn't it? They were an 8 or 9 point dogs, and did it shorthanded. This Denver team, everyone right now is at the top of their game. They're playing great defense. They are scoring points. What did the Big have last game? Was it 47 points and 0 turnovers?
That's correct.
That is that's gold, but you just don't. You try to find how many players have scored almost 50 points and had 0 turnovers. Mm-hmm. When you have to handle the ball that many times, it just doesn't happen. And this is a big that a lot of guys I know say, why does he look like he's moving 1 mile an hour on the court? Mm-hmm. He's kind of he's not a physical specimen, but he can play basketball. I like Denver here.
Ski, I got to tell you, man, the chat room, our friends, Tubatic, first of all, would like us to cut Finn's mic. I don't blame him. He's so sick and tired. We've got also our buddy in here. Let me just double check. The Trap Mixtape Reviews, doing a great job there. Shout out. He, too, is wondering who in the hell is typing so damn hard. That would be Tony Finn, guys, all right? Just calling it for the way it is. But a lot of Mavs love I'm looking right now in this chat room. I got Chris Johnson telling me all day. Dan Murdoch is actually, Don rather, is pointing out Porzingis tonight for our information. Also, our beer belly dude there, Denver, last 11 or 13 games have gone over the total. You got a side or a total feel in this game here?
Well, I agree with what you just said. I would look more towards the total. I agree with the line move. Both teams do play a little bit slower. The last 5 pace is 24th and 25th. But Denver, I mean, I know season-wide we looked at them as a team that likes to play defense, but lately they're the worst defensive rated team in the league last 5 games. And Dallas, not that far behind them at 23rd. So both teams more than capable of putting the ball in the bucket. Denver's been pretty efficient, and Dallas, both top 10 offensive rated teams. So I like points in this one. From a side, I know they got Tim Hardaway Jr. back, which also helps the over, but they don't have Porzingis, and it's just I'm not sure that they can hang with Denver. I think Denver's a better team. Both teams have not really been playing well lately, but I would have to take the points with Denver.
It's interesting there, Doc. Over the last 5 games, Denver giving up about, I believe, 120 points per game on average, and that kind of defense not necessarily get it done on the road, especially when you're going up against a team like the Mavs. The Nuggets are also 2-6 against the spread in the last 8 meetings between these two teams. Are you leaning home team favorite? Because that seems to be where the money's going.
So the money is going that way, and I guess I'm right with these two. I have no idea why, and I guess more with Tony on the side. I wanted to jump in right when Tony was talking, and so you do think of Denver as defense. When we talk about Denver, we think defense, but like to Skee's point, their defensive rating over the last 5 games 125, and I think it's a good 6 or 7 points worse than the next bad team.
Who have they played though in the last 5 games? Right. We're talking about Portland, Phoenix. These are they're going to score, and they're going to let them score. If you're going to score 150, you don't care if the other team scores 130.
Right.
That's my take.
But that's not how it's been. And so, I mean, when you think of Denver, I mean, I guess, I don't know, you're right. Like, the defense has been bad, and I'm sure that's one of the reasons that people are quickly to jump on the home team here. I think it might just have the feeling of Doncic is popular, it's a short home favorite, Denver is not a public team, I mean, just a whole lot of that going on. But some of the stuff, there's a pretty solid trend, and Tony brought it up almost with the turnovers. The team only had 5 turnovers.
Right.
And when there's a 5-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, the following game that tends to carry over, and it's you cover 25 of the last 35, and it's about a 65% ATS trend either way, and you're getting more points as the time's going. I like Denver from jump and have been just watching to see if it's going to keep going up, because it doesn't make any sense. I like the side more than the total, just in case the missing Porzingis causes I'd hate for Doncic to have one of those games, since he seems to be the only main scoring option they're going to have one of those games like against I think it was the Clippers, where they, let him make about 10 free throws and nothing from the field.
And I'm going to throw this in. I'm going to interrupt you. You made a very good point here. 5 turnovers. How much defense does Atlanta play?
Yeah, 0.
None.
Mm-hmm.
Not 5 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Atlanta, you shame on you.
Yep. It's a solid point. And listen, bottom line is here, guys. The over is 20-8, and the Mavs last 28 is a favorite. Yes, no Porzingis, but the way Denver's been playing defense, if you want to call it that, the points they've been giving up, anybody be surprised if Doncic drops another 40 in this game and just elevates everyone around him? There's a reason why I think it continues to climb here. If you're going to hit over, I would probably jump on it sooner rather than later because that number looks like it's going to keep going up and up and up before tip-off.
Count me as one that would be surprised. I think Doncic struggles tonight, and that's one of the reasons that I like the Nuggets. But Millsap, no Porzingis is another just solid. That team's getting points. It doesn't quite make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, well, at least he won't cry afterwards like your boy Embiid. Anyway, let's move on to another game here. We'll just happen to see. Let's move down. Speaking of those Atlanta Hawks, those laughable Atlanta Hawks, Tony Finn, taking on the Houston Rockets here tonight. Now, this game is. The line has been pretty static here. Opened up at Rockets as an 8-point road favorite, and it's pretty much stayed that way all here. 235 is a total to start. I'm seeing 236, 237. It's starting to creep up here, and you mentioned it, Finn. 0 defense from Atlanta. So are you going to be shocked if this thing hits 240?
I won't be surprised if it hits 250 because guess what? Guess how much defense Houston plays? They play defense when they want to, and when they want to play defense, they don't do it very well. I like the over here too.
You're pushing the over?
I like the over. Yeah, it's a big number, right? Talk to the doc will tell you with this kind of number in the NBA, the probability is it's going over.
That's correct. Yep, that's correct. And Ski, talk to me, man. In this game with the Rockets and Atlanta Rockets averaging just about 120 points per game, while the Hawks are giving up around 117 a game here. Would you rather the total or the side in this one?
I would probably look more towards the side. The Rockets, they want to play competition. They don't want to play these lesser teams, lower tier teams. They don't really care. They're 7-12 against the spread versus 45% win teams or less. Mm-hmm. They're 5-7 as a road favorite. Atlanta is kind of at the point where I want to find spots to back them. They got Collins in. They have Young in. Those are the two that I care about, and I think it could be too many points for Houston. And also, I think Atlanta is one of those places where James Harden likes to go to the strip club, and there's no Russell Westbrook in there to help him out either. So I think that could be an angle.
Well, how many points did Harden score last time he played Atlanta?
You'd have to check. It was not a major part of my handicap.
60. How many points did Houston score? On top of 158 points. They scored 158 to, what was it, 110 or 111? I'm only throwing that at you because he can go to the strip club and still score 70.
He could.
Yeah, but the streak he's getting in Atlanta is a lot. He already know them on a first name basis in Houston. On the road, he gets a little strange going on there. It could get a little freaky, but no Russell Westbrook. You're right about that, guys. He's out. It looks like Cam Reddish, Collins, Damian Jones, all Jabari Parker obviously out, but the other 3 guys all in. So Atlanta. Healthier than they have been in a long time here. And what about it, Doc? Does it matter to you? Do you think we're looking at a 250 game here, or you worried about laying 8 points without Russell Westbrook in it?
I don't have a strong opinion on the side because it's just, it's like Steve said. So there's no Westbrook in there, and to what extent do the Rockets show desire? James Harden's whole life doesn't look like there's a whole lot of desire going on, at least on the court. And so it kind of feels like we talk a lot about the Rockets where they'll be up a whole bunch and, that's good for them. And it just fades and fades, and there's nothing D'Antoni can do on the sideline but, look stressed out and hope that they hold on to the win. There's no Westbrook, but also in that last matchup, there was no Collins or Herter. So that's a problem. I'd like to have Parker in there, obviously, for an over, as well as running up and down the court. So it's hard to go under, and it's like Tony said, this is why I got my Weller. Right. But
That's right.
slightly not love this over as much because of what's missing, but it's hard to back the Hawks too, because if they're down 20, are they really going to get enough comeback? So I'm watching this one and seeing, but it feels like they want you to bet the Hawks.
Hey, Joe, I need one more second.
Go, brother.
2 more.
I don't know. I disagree. I feel like this Atlanta team in the beginning of the year.
There you go.
Atlanta team in the beginning of the year, they were playing well, and at the house, they were playing defense. It's because they had all of their pieces. When they got hurt, you started to see a different Atlanta team. Now they're starting to be healthy again. The under is 10-7 at the house, under 4 of the last 6 games, under 11-7 out on the road for Houston, under 4 of the last 6. They don't show up on the road, and Atlanta shows up at the house, and they're healthy. I like Atlanta. I like the under.
You liking the under in this game?
Hey, let's a little side wager then.
Oh, wait. Do we have the bell? I think we should we should get a side wager bell here. Talk to me.
Well,
You guys
I'm gonna let Ski. He can do 2 things.
Okay.
He can name the number on how many points are scored in this game, and I'll choose over under his number, and he can name Harden's total points, and I'll name over and under, and we will bet.
How about your keyboard? Can we bet your keyboard so we can take that and beat you with it when the show's over? Just asking for a friend.
Well,
that was what C-Mac came up with.
Do me a favor. Put me out of my misery so I don't have to deal with you all every day. Hell yes.
Talk to me. What do we got? Talk to me.
I'm waiting on Ski. Oh, you want to bet? Let's just do it. We'll do a fin. We'll just do a sawbuck. We'll make it really simple. The sawbuck on both sides, on the totals for Harden, or points total, and the points total for the game. You name the number, and I'll choose over under.
I have more confidence in the total of the game.
This is both. This is $10. You can afford $10. You
yeah, let's do it. Do it.
All right. What are we going with? What's the number? Let me write this down so we don't forget. Because Finn will
the
forget.
Total is for the game right now, 230 what? 230 is it 7?
238.
Okay. There you go. I got under.
You want? Well, he gets to name the number and the this. I like this. I like this guy.
Well, you're going
he gets
over.
To not only does he name the number. Okay, I'll name mine 10. I like the over.
You like the over. All right, so you're going over. Now, how about Harden? Over or under 40 points here? Talk to me.
I'll go under.
What about you there, Finn?
How many points?
40.
Oh. Silly.
No Westbrook?
Double sawbuck over.
Come on.
Go.
Make it 39.5. Come on.
All right, 39.5. There we go. 39.5. Ski is going under. Ski.
Triple sawbuck over.
And Finn is going over. There we go. All right.
Let's do it.
So we're betting the keyboard.
Oh, man,
all right,
listen.
The action is a little in-game action going on here right
Go ahead
now.
and post-date that check right now, right in for tomorrow.
Right.
If I win, you can't crush the keyboard tomorrow.
Yes,
love
exactly.
This.
Yeah.
Besides this game, I got one of my better plays in this game too, so this would be fun.
All right. Well, I'm also seeing that Kobe's 81 will be in jeopardy tonight, from what we understand here. A couple of guys think that it's going to be one of those kind of historic nights, so it'll be interesting. And
they're going to hear that me and Ski had a side wager, and it just depends on which one of us gets through to Harden's cell phone first.
Yeah, well, that's all right. We're going to have to call Cinnamon, make sure she does the right thing here tonight. Let's move on, guys. Let's take on the Utah Jazz tonight at home. This isn't even fair. Taking on the Knicks. They're not even shocked to play this game here. So
you're a knicker-knucker.
Yeah, I got to tell you here, a little disappointed with the effort last night, but what else is new? But Utah opens up 12.5 points, guys. I'm seeing 14 now, 14.5. 218 the total. That's down to 213 at this particular point. So, Ski, I'll start with you, man. Are the Knicks a hell no play of the night? What do you think?
Yeah, for sure tonight. You don't have Morris. You don't have Randall. I mean, what good do you have? Where are the points going to come from? I agree with the line move for both the spread and the total. I got in on under 215.5, and I got in on Jazz minus 13. That's went under 4 of the last 6 for New York. Like I said, I just don't see the points over there. Utah's offense has been good, but they like to play slow. Their defense also has been good, and I just think they limit New York tonight.
It's interesting. Utah was what? They gave up 126 to New Orleans earlier this week, and New York's given up at least, 120 in their last 2. So the over's 4-0 in the Knicks' last 4 against these winning teams here, guys. Are you buying it here, Tony Finn? Do you think maybe they can chip in enough to hit this over?
No. Well, yeah, I think so. I think that it's not so much. I don't think it's so much here what the Knicks do. It's what the Jazz decide to do in this game. They can this can go over and go under. Depends on what they want to do. They want to play slow tonight. They want to play fast. They want to play defense. They want to throw the Knicks a bone. What happens tonight is all up to the Jazz. It's not up to the Knickerbockers. It's not up to the Knickerbockers.
And I got to tell you, Jazz 7-1 against the number in their last 8 overall, and they do a pretty good job of covering against the crap too. 5-1 in their last 6 against teams with losing records. So, Doc, would you look at this maybe first half, and it'll be a decent number, but hell, we don't know. Like Tony said, we've seen this before with Utah, where they blow them out in the first half, double-digit favorite, and then we have no idea what they do in the second half. So, would you lean first half in this?
I don't mind the first half, but I'm not afraid of this. Yeah, we talked off. Tony and I were joking. I'm not afraid of this number all the way up to 17 or 18, honestly. Mm-hmm. He was joking that this number with the Jazz is kind of like laying 24 with the Lakers. Well, that would have been just fine. So I kind of think it's the same way, because I don't think that there's any way that the Knicks I was playing on Lakers last night, and we found it as the show was going on that LeBron was going to play, and that just furthered the ability. And I liked the first half and full game spread.
Did you look at the database? Did you find out how many times the Jazz won by 15 this year?
0.
0. What? 0?
Win
0?
Win
That's
favorite.
A big effing number for the Jazz.
Yeah. I know Jazz have been playing a lot better than the Lakers lately. They've been covering a lot more games than them.
Yeah.
So, I'm talking about tonight. We're talking about the Knicks. We're talking about an altitude. We're talking about laying 15 with the Jazz. Yeah. Listen, you don't like your money that much, you throw it this way.
No,
but 11-1 in the last 12, so they've kind of dominated here.
Tony, everything you just mentioned was exactly against the. It's.
I know it is. I know. Listen. I'm trying to make the show interesting because you guys are boring. Let's go. Come on, bet.
Yeah. Bet. Just lay them, and then count your money. It's
wake up. Damn it.
First half full game. It doesn't. I mean, there's no Randall. Yeah. I mean, they only got worse in the second half last night, and they had Randall. So.
Oh yeah, and has Randall has gone. That's how the Knicks have gone. I mean, whoever it is, I can't even. I follow the NBA as closely as anyone, and I'm having problems naming the bottom of the bench for the Knicks because you never see who.
Time decisions. I don't know if Ski has more information. Mitchell Robinson might not play now too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be. Yeah, I mean this might be the 125 to 90 type.
Of course, Conley could show up and they can be a disaster.
And one more stat.
No, Conley is not showing up.
I'm kidding. I'm joking.
No, he's
joking.
already thrown the towel in. Yes.
One more stat. The under is 4-1 on the second of a back-to-back for the Knicks.
Okay.
Yeah, and altitude. No rest. Travel altitude. And a 30-point loss.
All right, side bet here, and I'll ask you guys in the chat room tonight. Over under 90 points, 89 points for the Knicks here. What do you think? Over under.
Is that team total?
What's that?
Is that the team total?
Team total. What do you think?
Under.
I don't see how would they have 88 last night? And like you said, they had Randall. Where's the points coming from here? But again, Utah. We've seen this before, guys. They get, they'll be up 10 points going into half, and then they just, they sleepwalk in the second half, and next thing you know, it's like, oh, they're only up by 4. What the hell just happened here? So it's a risky proposition, man.
Yeah.
We'll see. I trust Utah, and I trust the under.
From Marcelo there, 1821. Welcome in, brother, there in the chat room. What's going on? Jamie likes under. Tubatic under. Don likes the under. There's no way they hit 100, right?
No.
Well, how much? What kind of odds will you give me? Because I might take that bet.
Really, Utah? The Knicks grabbing?
Well, it depends on what odds you're going to give me.
The Jazz will have the best net rating over the last 5-10 games. Both. I mean, it's
close. It's going to be close.
What kind of odds you want?
I'm not asking for Powerball odds or anything like that. I want to hear what you have to say.
I just want you guys to know. This opened up at 218. This opened up at 218 and a half. It's now down to 213. So, if you like 100 points from the Knicks, I'm backing the over, Tony. I'm going to take the over in this game.
Well, here's what I'm saying. Tell me that you're going to give me odds that make that wager worthwhile that put me in a position where the risk's worth the reward, then we'll talk.
Because I'm all here.
101?
Yeah.
101?
I'm here to give you favorable. You can kiss my. Let's move on to the next game here, guys. One that's going to be a little bit more competitive here, and then we'll go around the horn and we'll talk some best bets. How about San Antonio taking on the Boston Celtics at the Garden here, guys? This opened up Celtics 5.5. It is now 7, pretty steadily across the board here, a lot of places. Total also creeping up, guys. 219.5 is what it opened. I'm seeing 222, 223s here across the board. So, Ski, I'll start with you here in this Boston, San Antonio, because you have been a Mr. Hell no when it comes to San Antonio. But you were also like that with Cleveland until you backed them last night and they became hell yeah. So where are you going here, man? It's a big it keeps moving up. Are you back in Boston in this spot?
I'm going to clear this up a little bit really quick, but I don't think the new hell no team for me is the Phoenix Suns.
Okay, all right, good.
The Spurs,
very good.
Spurs are off the hook. The Cavs are off the hook for now.
Okay. So do you like the Spurs?
These damn fickle LA fans. They change their shit all the time, man.
Well, the Spurs, I mean, they couldn't be that bad forever. They're finally starting to play some good ball. They're 5-2 against the spread their last 7. I like the Spurs better at the house than on the road. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, their Spurs offense has been efficient. They're number 1. They drained in threes like crazy. How long it lasts, we'll see. They have offensive advantage. They should be the better rebounding team. But with Kemba Walker coming back, it gets a little tough. The one thing I'll say is not always, but sometimes when that star player comes back, it kind of throws the team off. I'm not running to the window to bet against San Antonio the way they're playing right now. I know Celtics after a loss is an angle, but I'm scared to bet against San Antonio right now, plus all those points.
It is. I mean, current form tells us that they're pretty decent. Also, another interesting number here, Tony, is the Celtics 8-0 to the under against the West here in their last 8 games. So they seem to play the West really hard. Certainly defensively, they are at home. Kemba is back. Is it that number's going to keep creeping up here? We know that here. Maybe the under in this game.
No. Listen, Coach Pop has essentially waved the white flag. We've talked a little bit about this in this room as well as the in-game live that I do late at night, and that's that he said, "Listen, you guys stink defensively. You're young. You don't listen to good advice." The last time the Celtics played the West, I think it might have been. I can't. It may have been. The Spurs, and the final score, the Celtics scored 135 points against the Spurs team in San Antonio, on the Riverwalk. If you listen, the number's low here, and Boston has their top scorer back tonight, and San Antonio's bombing threes. They don't care. Listen, they're going to have fun. At this point in time, I'm telling you that Coach Pop has said, "Listen, we're going to push the pace. We're going to try to outscore people because you guys have another disgusting." I'm throwing my glasses because the NBA has become disgusting. I mean, it's all about points and 3-point shots. What happened to effort? Half a defense is effort. Give me some effort. I like the over here.
They've done a really good job, Celtics at home, playing lockdown defense. They have made it a priority this year, but they're also coming off a loss, right? I think they're 6-2, if I'm not mistaken, 6-2 against the number, coming off a loss here. So, Doc, what do you think? Do you like the Celtics backing them in this spot?
Nah, I don't like it that many points. It's more because of the Spurs, like Ski said, but I sloughed the side to the side and like the total. This total is pretty far off in my estimation, and a lot of it has to do with the way the Spurs have been playing as well as Kemba being back. So incorporating someone like a Justice Winslow could be an interesting aspect. Incorporating Kemba Walker back into the game just means that he's going to score a lot of times. Yeah. And I think that, it's similar. You mentioned it last week. It's like, no Kemba, I'll take money line on the other team. See what happens. And the Spurs are dogs after being dogs, and the last 13 times they've been in that spot, which, isn't that common with Pop, but it has happened a bunch this season. They've gone over 13 times in a row by an average of like 15 points a game. And oddly enough, this is the exact total that it normally is. And so most of those games finish with both teams in the 120s. And so maybe we're not getting that tonight, but I definitely like the over at this price and would probably go up at least a few more points on that. It seems like a bargain.
Anybody
This
worried,
is a pretty high.
they got Philadelphia next, Boston, Tony?
Well, I looked at that too. I don't think you should worry about that because Boston they're pretty confident against the Phillies. Is that off? The Phillies. And where's that? Is it home or Philly? I didn't look at that.
I believe it's on the road. I believe it's in Philly.
Well, then Philly's they have a fighting chance if they're playing at home. But if they're on the road, forget it. And this is a big number for Boston. 221 is a pretty big number. Look at their average total, and there's a reason. This is going to be a game where Kemba comes back. Like you said, they score. San Antonio doesn't play any defense, and Boston probably goes to. I'm going to make a wager here, not a wager, but I'll make an educated guess that Boston goes to free throw line 28 or more times.
Oh, like that. Yeah, the question is, will they make them? That's a whole story.
As long as it's not Marcus Smart, they'll make them.
You can go, but whether or not you make them is a whole different ball game. All right, guys, let's go around the horn here. Best bets time. Any dogs here on the card? Anything? I know, Ski, last night you were splitting them yesterday, which was really good because you nailed both of them. So is there we'll start with a dog first. Is there a dog on the card today that you're looking at you like maybe?
Yeah, if I'm playing a dog, for sure, the one is going to have to be against Tony, going with the Atlanta Hawks.
Attaboy. That's it. Taking the Hawks over here. Taking the Hawks as a dog. Now, give me your best bet. Where are you going to go here on the board tonight?
I'm going to give a couple.
Ooh,
I'm going to go with the Jazz.
Okay.
Well, what's the number? What's the total? The total at right now?
213.5.
Man, I got it at 215.5.
It keeps going down.
So I still like it. I still like that 213.5. So I'll split it. I'll go there, and then I'll go at Tony again.
Ooh.
Atlanta and Houston under the total.
Oh, damn.
Okay.
Call
JD right now. Call John Detroit. Tell him I got the rest of the day off because I'm rich now.
I got to tell you, this is going to get ugly tomorrow, man. This is going to get ugly. This them fighting words here, man. It's getting a little salty in the room here. So Ski is obviously going after it is opposite day. He is completely fading Finn on just about every one of his plays tonight. Good news is one of you will be right tomorrow. The other probably won't show up on the show. So let's go to you here, Doc, before we let Finn kick him back. Talk to me, Doc. You got a dog on the card today here that you're looking at?
Oh, absolutely. So even going different from what Ski mentioned, I like the Hornets got that in already. I think you're going to lose value. I think this is going to go even farther than 2.5. And so I would get in that as quick as possible, but I like money line small play on the Hornets as well. I would go Nuggets. I would maybe wait to see if you can get more points that way.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and phone down. I know this is what I get from switching over.
Yeah.
But so interesting on a game we didn't mention. If you wanted to play something on something we didn't talk about on the game, no one gives a damn about.
Yeah,
then no one.
I care.
I know exactly where you're going, and yes,
Me too.
go ahead, go.
There's two, right? But on the dog front, the Wizards. The Wizards are getting 10 points at the Mavericks. You like to back the Mavs at home, but I just mean the Magic at home. But I think it's a trap. I think the Magic know they're going to win this game, and I don't know if Beal's playing or not. I guess I'm not sure 100% of his status at the moment. I know he's game time decision, but then I mean, if we're just doing best bets or just dogs, my best bet is the Jazz. I'd lay it. I'd lay all of it. Tony and I were joking that I'd lay 20. So that game is not a game from the jump, and I don't think the Jazz are going to let down. And they've had rest. They have no look ahead. And the Knicks have had nothing but no rest.
All right. So you're going Jazz here tonight as your best bet, and the dog, you're going to be taking the 10 points here with the Wizards against the Magic. So Tony, Finn, you've gotten faded just about every time you open your mouth here today. These two guys are spitting fire. So talk to me, man. Fire back. You got a dog on the card you like?
If you think I'm scared of these two, in handicapping or in the ring, you got me all effed up. Okay. First off,
Always all effed up.
I like here's my offer of another sawbuck. Anyone want to say it? I like the dogs on every. I think there's more dogs win tonight than favorites. I take every single dog on the board tonight.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love
every
that.
single dog on the board tonight. If you believe that more favorites are going to win and cover, the numbers that are right now, hell with it. The closing number, Allen Penny or whatever you want to call it. That's my. There's the Bulls can look at the number on this Bulls New Orleans play. We didn't talk about this. The Bulls went outright tonight.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
No.
Oh, wait. You got what? You got some pushback there. Did I hear another fade, guys?
All I want to hear is bet.
Wow.
Okay, Tony, clarify. Do you mean more dogs cover the spread or more dogs win the game?
No, cover the spread, the numbers. I mean, listen. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna do. Give me 5-1, and more dogs win outright.
Ooh.
5-1.
I do agree that more dogs cover, but
Yeah, I agree with dogs cover. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad you guys agree with me finally today.
Oh, I
I don't
like that.
think
I like
dogs
that.
You got to give you something, Tony. You can't just.
I know.
Give
All right.
the old man some. Throw
All
me
right.
some bones.
And
Throw me
listen,
some double sauce.
I know that you got the Warriors, you got GS and NY.
Yeah, to me, guys, I don't know. Listen, I know Draymond's going tonight. He's active. George Hill's out. He is sick, so he's not going to be coming off the bench for Milwaukee. Giannis, of course, they say is probable, but that's a 14 number I'm looking at over here. I think Draymond at home, back in that lineup. I think D'Angelo's still out, but I like Draymond in this spot. Give me 2 touchdowns with that. I got no problem back in GS here tonight there, Ski. What do you think?
Me either. No.
I know those are your boys. You're not surprising me, Joe. Do it.
All right, so good. So then we're going to go shits and giggles then. We're definitely going we're going to go Charlotte and we're going to go Golden State here to GS tonight, making a valiant comeback. Draymond just hammers the Greek freak over there and gets the job done tonight. But I do think Charlotte takes down the Raptors here tonight. I don't think there's any reason why.
I just want to ask, where are those Lonzo haters at? Watch my boy keep balling.
Yeah, that's
Lonzo, who?
Yeah.
Oh,
we got a New Orleans. We got a New Orleans drop in
Lonzo
here,
and
baby.
his new shot. He's shooting left-handed now because he shoots better with his left than he does his right.
3.5. Are you laying it there with against the Bulls at home? You taking Orleans?
Hey, play on teams, bet on teams. Utah Jazz, New Orleans Pelicans.
There you go.
How about this?
Keep waiting, though.
Here's the deal. I called the Greek. He's gonna listen. He's gonna say I'm only gonna play a couple 10 minutes tonight. We'll win by 1 or so over Golden State. But he goes because Tony, I know you're pissed at the Sacramento Kings, and I'm gonna take care of them on Friday night. We're gonna destroy the you know what. So there you go. Milwaukee, best bet Friday night.
Friday night. All right, good.
In the capital city of your home state.
Love that. Love that. And the Knicks will score at least 100 points tonight. That game is going over. Give me the over in the Utah Jazz as well. And do not forget here, guys, WagerTalk.com is where you can get Tony Finn and you can get Ski, fade each other all night. It's going to be priceless. And, of course, the doc is over at sportsmemo.com. So, gentlemen, as always, appreciate the time. We want to send a shout-out to all the folks, the fine folks, the good-looking folks, the beautiful people in the chat room here today. Red Scare, Luke, Gino's in the house, James. You can go down. You can go down the list over here. Tube Addict, the Beer Belly Dude, C-Mac.
Tubok?
Yep, you guys rock. Dylan, Shedrick, all you guys. Appreciate the time. Appreciate you hanging with us here. And again, don't forget, WagerTalk.com, SportsMemo.com. All their plays all week long available at those sites, guys. We'll be back again tomorrow, right around this time, man. Breaking it down, making fun of each other, and of course, more making fun of Tony. But we'll be making fun either way. We'll be celebrating the victories, and of course, we'll be laying it down, guys. We got a whole nother card again tomorrow. But in the meantime, good luck with your plays here tonight. Ski, Finn, Doc. I'd like to say it's a pleasure, but you're really all a giant pain in my ass. But good luck to your plays here tonight, guys. We'll do it again tomorrow.
Post-date the check.
See you guys.
Right now.
Jesus, I can't. I can't. I can't.